Okay, so this one's going to be a bit of a different video. Haven't done one for a while. So this is my MacBook. It's a 2013. I'll double check that, and if it was wrong I'll ping it up here, but I think it's a 2013 Retina MacBook Pro. It's fine. It was a pretty high spec one. What I would say is that it seems to be getting very hot at the moment. I'll sit and I'll watch a video on Sky Go or something of that nature, or Netflix or whatever, and I can hear it humming away, getting pretty hot. So I think that probably after all this time it's gotten a little bit full of dust. So what I'm going to do is take off the back here and have a little look and see where we are. This toolkit, by the way, is really good. It's an iFixit one. I'll put a link in the description below if you are looking to do some work. I've got some other little random bits in here, like a spludger and stuff, but the majority of the toolkit is from iFixit. It was really good. Can only recommend it. So excellently, these are star drives. Let's just find which one of these star drives we need. Bit fat, that one. Alright, so we're in action. Alright, hang on. 2 seconds and I'll be back with my magnetic mat. Okay, so this is a little thing that I picked up a while ago. It's a mat which is magnetic, so you can put little screws on it and you can draw around them with a whiteboard marker so that you don't forget what they are. What I will say, however, is that after the first time you've drawn little lines on it, you just won't bother because you just remember. What I'll typically do is I go around the mat like the thing that I'm taking apart so that I can remember what screw came from where, just in case there's different sizes and stuff involved in them. Okay, so this bad boy hasn't been opened ever, so we'll see how full up of rubbish it is. I might get this out of the way first. Let's have a little look, shall we? Now, is it going to be an absolute dust bath, or is it going to be not? Let's zoom in a little bit for you so that you two can share the enjoyment of discovery with me. I have to say, it's not as bad as I thought it might be. What can we see in here? There's not a fat lot of dust anywhere that I wouldn't expect it to be. Oops, some dust in here though. So I must admit, I was hoping to see a more obvious clogging of the sort of the dust ports, etc. in here, so that it's an easier solution. The fans all seem to be relatively free of dust. Yeah, that was less exciting than I expected. As I say, I've never opened this before, so it's a bit of a first time seeing it all in here. So I think this is probably the SSD, is it? Which I thought you couldn't change. I thought they were soldered on. Or maybe this is the memory here. And then this is the SSD, which you can change, but the memory is definitely soldered on. And I guess this is the CPU in the middle here. Wi-Fi card, I'm assuming. give it a bit of a blow, but like I say, there doesn't seem to be much rubbish in there, which is a bit of a bummer, because I was looking for a big bang, easy win solution. I'm also really surprised at how little just random crap there is in there. I'd have thought, because if you look, these are the intakes for the fans here, and the air comes in here, goes through there and gets blown out the back. I'm amazed that over like in excess of 5 years more stuff hasn't come in and got blown all around and basically haggard everything up, but everything looks pretty damn spotless, to be fair. There's a few little bits of dust in there, but nothing. I've seen iPads with more stuff inside them than this, to be completely honest. Well, I guess that at least makes me feel happy that I have looked after my MacBook well, or at least reasonably. It's funny, these little pogo pins that are obviously to detect whether the back is on the MacBook or not. Yeah, so this is another great video idea that's kind of petered out because there's nothing really wrong. Oh well. I guess I can't really complain that there's nothing wrong with my MacBook after 5 years. It's quite funny that people moan about these things not lasting very well. This is like 5 years plus old now, and generally speaking, it still does. I can still do a bit of video editing. I mean, don't be wrong, it was very high spec at the time. It's an i7 512 SSD, 8GB of RAM, I think, but it still runs. My photo editing software will do video. 4K is pushing it a little bit, but yeah, I can't complain, and I'm really surprised how clear of dust it all is in here. Anyway, apologies for wasting your time, but if you, for example, if you have a MacBook that you're wanting to clear out the fans, that's, I guess, a tutorial of how to do that, even though there's no dust in here. You just undo the screws off the back, lift it off, you can get your fingers in the back here. The airflow comes from these side vents, through here, through the fan and out the back, so as long as that's unobstructed by rubbish, you should be fine. Which this is. And I'm pretty confident this is the same for the smaller MacBooks. For the new MacBooks, just probably, you know, there'll be slight changes, etc., but certainly there's no mystery to how these work. And if you're overheating, perhaps it's worth looking at the vents. What I would say is, obviously the new ones, and also if you're doing something very processor intensive, they're going to get hot anyway. That's just the nature of cramming all this stuff here into a small space. So, you know, I would only worry about this if, for example, you've been working in a dusty environment, or an environment where there's loads of bits and bobs that can get sucked in there. I'm not entirely sure whether taking the bottom off it voids a warranty. I don't think it does. There's all stickers in here that say if you take them off that will void your warranty. Put it this way, if I had a warranty on this, I probably wouldn't have opened it up, just to be on the safe side. But if you've got an old one like me and you want to have a look, it doesn't seem too risky. Anyway, there's a bit of dust on the back here. I'll give that a quick wipe over. Right on, now the excitement of putting it back. I have to say that it does all fit really well. Unlike some laptops I've taken apart, which is like squeezing a sandwich of ill-fitting plastic bits together, this does go together very smoothly. I guess that's what paying multiple times more than most people do for a cheap laptop gets you. The one downside to this little investigation is that now I just have to figure out why just running streaming video is causing a relatively powerful laptop to heat up like an absolute beast. I don't really know. I've recently rebuilt this because it was just getting full of rubbish. So maybe I'll have to have a look at make sure the NVIDIA drivers are all correct and working how they should do. I know that prior to rebuilding it, I had the pleasant experience where the driver would come up and say it was the latest version but was also out of date. So that was good. One of the only problems I tend to find with these tiny little screws, now I don't know whether you're going to be able to see the end of this. Panasonic Focus for Life. Anyway, I can assure you it's tiny, is that you do feel like they're going to strip super easily. And I think if you buy the cheaper tools, they do strip super easily. And like, it's more that it's going to be your tool rather than the actual screw, but maybe both. Certainly. So that will stop clicking around or doing anything weird. So I think we can consider that done. Hopefully it will turn on. Yes. Yes, it will. Okay, sweet. Apologies there was no massive dust bunny in there to find, but hopefully this will show you how easy and not scary it is to take the back off your Mac and make sure it's not full of dust. I did a similar thing on the MacBook, the fatter one, which still had the disk drive in it. One of my colleagues had managed to put it down on a table where there was spilt coffee and it had sucked coffee up into the inside of it, and that was literally just a case of take the back off, either blow out with some compressed air or whatever you want to do to get rid of that. But I would definitely make sure that you keep the vents on the side of your MacBook out of rubbish. And then obviously you've got vents that go along the back here, which is the heat coming out. So what I've noticed is when I've got this plugged into a TV or a screen, if you have the screen angled incorrectly, it kind of covers this up more so than necessary, and then things will start to get hot easier. But I mean, that's pretty easy, just tilt the screen to the way that allows the best airflow out of here. But yeah, I mean, in terms of what you can really do, check that's clean, is probably about it. Anyway, let's see whether this is going to make it onto the channel or whether it's just an absolute dead loss.